I'm eating popcorn. So we have Tiffany here from Canadian Family Life. We have my brother Scott from Rambling with the Brooms. I have my live stream set up to go directly to yours after mine is done. I don't know if I'm going to be too late or if I'm just going to jump over on yours as soon as you start yours, but we'll see how it goes. As you know, I like to have a lot of watch time, and the telethon we had is kind of, you know, going down a little bit in my stats now. So, from what I understand, the more watch hours you get, the more you get promoted, and there's a lot of stuff going on in with the algorithms. But I like to keep my numbers up. Usually, I look over there to see if there's anyone new coming in the chat in case I miss while I'm scrolling through the comments here. But my screen is broken. I needed to change. I had one there. I needed to change it because it died on me. So I took another one that I had. It was like a TV, but it was way too big, and the foot of the TV was broken. So the TV was just moving. The screen was moving like back and forth all the time. It's hard to read. So I put it back there on the computer that I use as a server. I don't really need to go on it too often. And I took the old screen from the old computer we had. Now the computer is. I wonder what. Okay, I would just want to see something. Oh, so if I show it that way, if I was to show it from here, I can see that it's my screen being the problem and not the video card. What you would see, your browser has blocked your screen. What? Your browser has blocked your screen. Click the screen icon in your address bar. To reload the page. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure because there was something weird going on. But what I see on that screen is it's like I can see through my browser and I see the background picture 50-50 with what's going on, and I can't read the chats. Like I can see Dave Knight saying hey to someone, but I have no idea what else is written there. And I mean I can see some of the names, but I have no idea what everyone is saying. So I need to change my screen. So Sky was here. I don't think he's still here though, but no worries. He's probably going to be back, or he's in the background lurking. My sister Glenda is here. Good evening, Glenda. Shawnee is here as well. Good evening. Yeah, I bought it at Walmart. You know those big, the kids call them the clown popcorn. They're like huge bags of popcorn, and there's a picture of a clown on it. These ones are barbecue popcorn. They're actually pretty good. They're kind of spicy, but not too spicy. You know, you can still eat them. Awesome. Oktoberfest sausage. That must be pretty good. Had a burger from Culver's. Hurricane season in southwest Ontario. Well, stay safe, Dave. Hopefully you guys don't get it too bad. We're kind of lucky the way that the bay is made. The hurricane coming from south, whenever we have hurricanes, they kind of need to go, they follow the cove. When they get to our area, they would need to switch like this to come hit us. So sometimes we'll get like the tip of the hurricane, but it's never really that bad. Unfortunately, I can't say the same thing about people down south. You know, the way it's going. People from Fredericton, like Jack and Lindsay from Good Timber Farm, they can get hit quite bad down there. And I'm sure, Tiffany, you probably get worse than what we get up here as well. Oh, thank you so much, Glenda. Hopefully I can get some people to come on my live stream. That'd be awesome. And you know what? I was thinking eventually I need to bring you up on screen and have a little talk with you up here. And I was also thinking that maybe I can do the same with Tiffany. Tiffany is not necessarily a homesteader the same way we are, but she's still gardening. She's still doing a lot of cool stuff. So, it'd be a good way for her to explain exactly what's her main focus on her channel, other than having the family stuff going on and all the activities and all the fun stuff that they're doing. Your kids, Tiffany, they're so funny. I mean, every time I watch your video, they make me laugh. That sounds wonderful. I don't think our Walmart carries it. Oh, that sucks. Oh no, well, hopefully you guys are safe. Yeah, the grocery hauls. It's always fun to compare what we have compared to other people. Oh, so they're listening? I need to remember the name. I get so mixed up between all the people's kids. I don't know if you're married, but boyfriend, husband is Chris. I don't remember the name of your kids. Well, to be fair, I had Alex in mind, but I wasn't sure if it was your kid or Hickory Craw Farm, Chris and Steph's kid. I think one of their kid is called Alex as well. Bella. Alex and Bella. Okay. I'll try to remember. It might take a while. But if you guys are watching, you're cool. Don't stop. Good evening, Joe. And yes, let's hope that everyone stays safe. And I know Lynn from Bucket List Homestead was down in Florida and when everything hit, but I don't think they had it that bad. I think they're coming home tomorrow, from what I understand. Alex and Bella, I'll try to remember. Hi. Oh. See, so much love. It's so much fun. I literally just ended a video about the YouTube family. The video is mainly on the people I've actually met, but I could have gone on and on about all the beautiful community that we have. There's a YouTube community, but there's also the YouTube family. And I mean, I'm just blown away by all the people out there that will care about whatever's happening to you, even if they don't even know you in real life. It started with, I had a video a couple of weeks back about Catch and Cook, where I met Mallory from, she used to be known as Quebec Homestead, and now she changed her channel to Her Eco Life. And we met for the first time in the middle of the water. She was in a kayak and I was on a paddleboard. And through Mallory, I ended up meeting Annie from Back to Basics Homestead and Darren from Thorhaven Farm. And around the same time I met Mallory on YouTube, I also met Chris and Steph from Hickory Craw Farm. And then suddenly, each and every one of us just started hanging out together, like on the social media in general, until we ended up meeting in real person. And when we did, the funny thing is, it was all natural. It didn't feel weird. It didn't feel awkward. Marilyn from Little Homestead by the Beach, Mike and Angie from Me and You Acres. Patrick Cost. Funny enough, though, the first time I went to Ontario for the conference, Scott was actually on his way here to Campbellton, so we didn't get to meet until I got back. But it was the same with him. He didn't feel, like, is he going to be the same as what you see on YouTube? Is he going to be weird? Is that going to be like an issue somehow? Like, not at all. I picked up Marilyn. She was getting off the ferry in Rivière-du-Loup, Wolf River on the Quebec side. We drove to Quebec to Darren's place. When we got there, it's like would have known Darren our whole lives. He took us on a tour, and I still remember Marilyn telling me, if he was going to kill us and bury us somewhere, back here is a place he would do it. Because he took us on a walk around his property, and he has 16 acres, not 1,600, but 16 acres. And we were way back the property, and it's like, okay, we've never seen that guy before, and suddenly he brings us in the middle of nowhere in the woods. But I don't know, it was just so much fun. And then we left there the next morning, and even Brigitte was there, and it was not weird at all. We went to Darren's cabin where, we also met Dave Knight at the conference that year. Mike and Angie, Chris and Steph. There was just so many people. We met Holabi, Homestead as well. There was just so many people, and came back home to meet Scott. And then the following year, Annie spent the weekend with us. Thomas was there. Scott was there at the conference. We met Scarlett, Gardening with Scarlett, or I think that's the name of her channel. And nobody even knew who she was until we just ran into each other. Hey, you're a YouTuber? Yeah, cool. Then we started looking at her channel, and she had 4 channels of over 100,000 subscribers. And it's like, oh, cool. Okay, so that person knows what she's talking about. And, we all became a big community. We ended up meeting Tracy. Dave Knight spent the weekend with us. Ended up meeting Jack and Lindsay from, they were known as Ren's Homestead back in the days. And we went moose hunting together. We go deer hunting together again in about a month and a half. Lindsay had very good news. So I don't know if she shared anything on the social media. I know she did on Facebook, but I think it was only for her real friends, life friends. So stay tuned. If she didn't post anything yet, she will soon, and it's great news. It's awesome. But when we had the fundraiser about a month ago, all those amazing people in the chat were all part of it. Whether it was Glenda, Joe, Scott, Tiffany, whether people were in the chat or acting as moderators or buying stuff, giving stuff. It was just amazing. The community is so amazing. Rain stop, wind is still going. Hopefully everyone stays safe. I know I heard that 3 people died in Florida from the storm. It's never fun when it happens. And you can prepare all you want, but there's only so much you can do. No worries. We all know it helps with the algorithms, but I understand people don't have time to comment. No worries. Even just the fact that you watched, that's awesome. Okay. Well, hopefully things will get better soon, quick. I just made the Dutch baby with blueberry and goji home can from Steel's channel. Cool. I think that my goji berry shrub will survive. It produced about 3 or 4 fruits. It doesn't look too strong, but at least if it's giving me fruits, it means it's still alive. Jane, do you know if the goji berry is meant for zone 4 or 5? Usually, if it's like they say that if it's meant for zone 4 and I am in zone 4, I should even try to go with zone 3 trees just to be sure, especially when, when when the trees and shrubs are young. I was told that I have some kiwis vines here, and apparently they have at least until they're at least 5 years old, you should cover them and give them a lot of attention because they can pretty much die any time. Not yet, not yet. Let me see. I'm just gonna send him a quick message. Let's see if he answers before I'm done. Working on my meal plan and listening. Awesome. No worries. Thank you so much. Just curious. Yeah. Well, I am curious. I am curious as well. I need to know because depending on if he still has them, how much he's selling them for, and all this, everything that surrounds the purchase of that pig, it might change my life quite a bit for a few weeks. So I need to make sure that we have the money for that, and yeah, because I'm getting my GST in about a week, but that money was going to go towards my deer hunting week. Now, I can probably still manage to put money aside, but whenever I feel like I have a little bit of extra cash, something happens and I'm out of cash. I was looking at my budget because I do my budget like a few months in advance because I know exactly how much money I'm gonna get, and I know exactly what my expenses are gonna be. And I'm like, oh, okay, so this paycheck that I'm getting this Tuesday, I should have an extra $300. So with that $300, usually all I have to do is pay for my chicken feed and my rabbit feed, which is give or take $100, and it could last me 3 to 4 weeks. So basically a month. At least the rabbits, the feed lasts about a month, and the chickens, one bag lasts about 2 weeks. So if I pay $100, I mean it lasts a month. So I figured I'm going to have an extra $200. I still have a few things to pay. So I'm going to be able to pay those bills, bring those debts to zero, and then, but nope, that's not how it works. My 2 daughters are going weekend getaway with my cousin, my oldest, well, the middle kid is going with her sister and her godmother to a pageant. It's the Atlantic Teen Pageant, and they were invited, so obviously they need some money to eat. And I mean, it's hard to say no because I don't need to pay for gas, I don't need to pay for hotels, and let's face it, we didn't do much this summer. There was many reasons for that. Money was one of those reasons. Time was another one. So if I can help them go on small weekend getaway, I mean, they're going with my cousin, and I know um, she's gonna care well for them. And I mean, Cody's 14, Miley's 12. They can, take care of themselves um, to a certain point. So it was only normal that I was going to give them, a few bucks each uh, to go out there and pay for their meals and stuff. But that being said, the money I thought I was going to have extra for my hunting season, my hunting week, I'm not getting it. So it's going to be another month before I can actually put some money aside, and then that's pretty much all I have, a month. You know the feeling, right? Yeah. So budgeting, and you can budget only so much, but whenever you do, something happens. And good evening again, Scott. Thank you for stopping by. Gotta put the hens into the coop. Awesome, Jane. So it's been a crazy week, and I say crazy very vaguely because I know most people in the chat are going through some stuff all the time. But I started my college class, and for some reason I didn't feel too good. Well, not that I didn't feel good. I wasn't feeling that bad. It's just that I woke up around 4 a.m. every morning in the last week. And it's one thing when you wake up. But, when you wake up and you're still like, and you just know you can close your eyes and fall asleep again, that's not a big deal. You just awake enough to know you're awake, but still sleepy enough to also know that you will fall asleep right away. And you wake up and you basically don't really remember much. But when you go to sleep around 11:30, by the time you fall asleep, and you get up at 4 a.m. and you just can't close your eyes, you're going to have a long, long day. Yeah, and that's what happened pretty much all week. Until last night, I fell asleep around 10:11 p.m. Slept straight through until 6:30 this morning. For the first time, well, I was going to say for the first time in a very long time, I was woken up by my alarm, but that would be a lie. I woke up precisely 1 minute before my alarm. My alarm is set for 6:30, and I woke up exactly at 6:29. When I woke up, I had my face looking at my old clock. It was 6:29. Last Sunday, after I was done my morning live stream, we ended up, I went outside, harvested some raspberries like I said I would, and I ended up harvesting close to 3 pounds of raspberries. And this time of year, it's pretty cool. Came back inside. I made about 6 jars of 250 milliliters, so half pints. So I made about 6 half pints of raspberry jam. And then when I was done, my girlfriend arrived. We started cooking chicken carcasses to do chicken broth, chicken stock. I don't know how you call it. I was born in a French community where chicken broth meant like the whole soup, with the potatoes, carrots, rutabaga, chicken, and the broth itself. But I later found out that chicken broth is actually just like the liquid or the flavor. We ended up doing about 12 of those, 12 pints. And I ended up, well, not I, but my girlfriend and I ended up making about um, maybe 28 liters of spaghetti sauce. And I say that it's kind of hard to say because we had two huge pots cooking at the same time that were, about this much from the top. So probably 14 liters in each pot is my guess. And we ate some for supper the next day that I didn't put in jars. Um, and it was probably the equivalent of 3 jars. Um, timing but in my sleep. Yeah. um, I used to do that too, but I stopped. Maybe I need to start again. Definitely needed to sleep. And good evening, Michael, I'm guessing. Thank you so much for stopping by. It's been a long time. Wait, I need to catch up so bad. Hopefully this winter it will slow down a little bit, and I'll be able to catch up because you keep posting those amazing videos, and I don't really have time to watch YouTube. And I'll have time to sit down and watch 1 or 2 videos, and I keep putting yours in my watch later list. I will catch up at some point, guys. MB Heritage Farms, he's doing some incredible stuff down there. Go check him out. I mean, if I have a moderator, Tiffany or Scott, you can share him out. Um, he's doing some incredible stuff down there. Different type of chicken breeds and all that kind of stuff. It's pretty amazing. Yeah. So to continue my story, we ended up making about 28 jars of spaghetti sauce, give or take, because we took some for supper. I start canning with my small canner because I can put 4 at a time in there. And the pressure canner needs to go on for an hour because I had some meat in my spaghetti sauce. Thank you, Scott. And you can share any channels you want. It's just that, I feel like I owe Michael. Yeah. But I mean, you're not forgotten, that's for sure. So I start canning with my smaller canner that holds about 4 mason jars, 4 pints. And I put the other one on, that's a 22 quarts. So it holds about, I think it's like 17 pints. For some reason, it doesn't want to hold the pressure. When there's like a little button that clips up that locks the lid, locks it in place, and eventually the pressure comes up on top, and when you put the weight on, at some point the pressure will build up and the weight will start dancing. Dave, I have no clue what happened. What happened to Dave? So yeah, the weight never gets to dance. It locks up because the pressure is high enough. But instead of coming from the top where the weight is actually dancing, you have that little thing. Awesome. Thank you, Scott. Whatever you did, thank you. It's fixed. Instead of doing that, the pressure comes from the handle on the side. And I made a few tests. If I put water on top, I can see the water dripping in my canner. So something in there is broken, and I've been trying to find the handle online, and I can't. So I'm gonna have to remove the screws and open it up and see if there's anything in there that's damaged or broken. I thought it was the seal, but it's not. So I have no idea what's going on. Um, I am still here. That's awesome. Uh, so I don't know. Might have to buy a new one. But when you have, I had like those give or take 28 spaghetti sauce jars and those 12 chicken broth jars to can. We finished around 8 p.m. The cooking part. I mean, if I can only do 4 at a time, and it takes give or take 15 minutes to get the pressure it needs to go for an hour, and then it takes a good 15 to 30 minutes to cool off and let the pressure go. So it's almost like 2 hours between each batch. And I don't know if you know, but 38 divided in 4, we're talking about 9 batches. 8 p.m., we're talking about 18 hours straight of canning, and didn't happen. I did 1 batch of 4, and when I realized, I figured I was just going to put everything in hot water for the night and find a solution the next morning. The next morning I woke up, before I went to work, put another batch on the canner. As soon as I hit the sweet spot, because I know my stove, the sweet spot is at 7. As soon as I hit 7, I know it's not going to do anything crazy. I left my girlfriend in charge, and she said everything went well. So came back from work, did the same thing. Luckily, one of my friends had a big one that I was able to borrow and finish all the rest of the stuff, because, I mean, I'm going to have to find something, because I can't just keep going pressure canning 4 at a time. That's just not possible. That's just impossible to do. So it looks like I need to buy a new pressure canner. And it looks like I know what I'm going to ask my parents for Christmas. So, I have a piece of corn stuck in my throat. $16 people watching. That's awesome. Thank you so much, guys. Don't forget the thumbs up. I had plans for the weekend. I wanted to go see Gaetan. We've been freeze drying a lot more stuff. He called me saying, "Hey, we can get carrots, 50 pounds for $13. You want to go half and half? Come help me with that stuff, and help me cut them up, and I'll freeze dry them for you, and we can go 50-50." I'm like, awesome, sure. Like, when I get the chance of getting freeze dried stuff, of course I'm gonna jump on it. So I went there, and this weekend, tomorrow, I was actually hoping to go back to get the stuff and finish up with all of that. And there was a surprise diaper party for a friend of mine. I don't think he watches me. Hopefully he doesn't, but I'm pretty sure he knows about it anyway. But my dad sent me a message Monday saying, "Hey, I need your help. Saturday, we're bringing all the firewood in the house." Okay, I'm going to need to find some time to go. And then I saw him, I think it was Thursday, or no, Thursday was yesterday. Was it yesterday or Wednesday? I told him, I said, hey, as soon as I get my GST, I'm going to send you some money for you to put aside, or, put on your credit card to help pay for the Airbnb for when we go deer hunting. And he's like, don't worry about the money. I got money. Don't worry about the money. Worry about helping me Saturday because I need your help. My dad is 66 years old. He's asking me for help to do some physical stuff. My plans for the diaper party and the freeze drying stuff were canceled, and I am piling up some firewood tomorrow. And I was supposed to have a long weekend. Monday is a holiday for us. It's not all over Canada yet. I know a few businesses have it. And the reason for that is this year. So Monday is the reconciliation, something in a reconciliation day here in Canada. It's about the First Nation kids that were tortured and killed, I think, back in the days. I don't want to say stuff that I might be wrong, so just go look it up. What they did to those kids was just awful, and they're doing one day a year to remember them and to remind everyone that every child matters. And I support them. I have some Native friends, First Nation friends. They certainly did not deserve everything that happened in the past. So, it's just a day to have a little thought about them. That being said, Tuesday I have to go to the specialist, the braces specialist for my daughter, and I need to take at least half the day off to go there with her, because usually someone can drive her there, but this time there was no one available. So to replace my Tuesday, I'm going to take the whole day off, and I'm going to be working on Monday. So I'm not going to have a long weekend, but I'm still going to have Tuesday off. The reason for that is because there are contract changes at the hospital. I didn't realize it was a holiday weekend here. I don't know. I think the schools are closed. So the way that it works at the hospital is we have some medication from different brands, right? So one of those brands is Apotex and another one is Teva. I always use those two examples because those are the most known brands. Most people know, but we could say the Life brand from is it Jean Coutu, and what's the one from Walmart? Anyway, so let's say Teva and Apotex, okay? So every 4 years they do the tabs, every 4 years they do the injectables, every 4 years they do the puffers and the eardrops, and every 4 years they do all the creams and whatever, So every year we end up having something to do. So this year it's the injectable, next year it might be the tabs, the following year it might be the creams, and so on. And the way it works is there's a company that negotiates those contracts for the whole province. Well, for the whole country, I think. And so they're doing that for us in New Brunswick as well. So they negotiate saying, hey, our hospitals are using, 8 million tabs a year. That company is proposing this price. That company is proposing this price. So then they come and say, okay, well, you can do $5 a bottle. They can do $6 a bottle, but they can provide this other medication for $5 cheaper than you. So we were going to go with Apotex. So maybe for um, the last 4 years, we've been dealing with Teva. But maybe this contract, it's all Apotex. And the deadline is September 30th at 23:59. So everything you order before October 1st has to be ordered Teva. And those are just examples. Everything you order after October 1st has to be from Apotex. And since it's a long weekend and we're not there Monday, we can't take the regular day to do all those changes. And when I checked, there's about 270 different medications that are changing contract this Monday to Tuesday. So I have to go in and go in our drug dictionary and one by one take those medication and change the information. There's a DIN that we call a DIN is a drug identification number. We have to change the brand name, the company, the supplier, the catalog number, the prices. So we have to go one by one change those medication in the dictionary. It's probably not going to take all day, but it's going to take a very long time. So because of that, and because I was requesting, well, no matter what, I would have had to go in Monday regardless. But, me asking for Tuesday off, they said, well, you know what? If you want to come in Monday, trade 1 for 1. We'll put your holiday on Tuesday and you can work on Monday. I'm actually going to get paid time and a half. So it's kind of a good deal for me. I mean, I'm just not going to have a 3-day weekend. I'm going to have a regular weekend with a day off on Tuesday, but I'm going to get paid time and a half on Monday. Okay, yeah, well, a lot more people are getting there. It's getting, it might come at some point. They're not off. They're not. Well, if she's a nurse, nurses are never off. So, yeah. So I'll be working on Monday. That being said, if I need to pile up some woods on Saturday, tomorrow, that means I only have Sunday left to start preserving all the stuff I have. I have a lot of squash and zucchinis, but the zucchinis, there's not much I can do now. They're already frozen and cut and sliced. But the squash I can put in mason jars and can them. They're pretty good canned. So, I'll be canning Sunday, but only 4 pints at a time, which sucks. And for the first time in about 10 years, I'll be able to go grouse hunting Tuesday morning, which is the first day of grouse hunting in New Brunswick. Because my daughter's appointment is only in the afternoon. And I don't need to go far to go in the woods. People have been around here. Scott, it's woods all around. So yeah, grouse is a pretty good meat bird, but the size of a grouse breast is about the size of a beer can, give or take. You don't get tons of meat. So, I mean, that's not the kind of hunting that you will actually save money on, but it's good times in the woods. And usually I go grouse hunting, I end up harvesting more apples than what I actually hunt. People are leaving. I was up at 16 and now I'm down to 9 people. Oh, really? Well, you guys were talking about taking your hunting class. Maybe the fact that you were security guards, you would need to take all the handling rifles and stuff like that course. You should check it out. Obviously, you can't shoot a gun in your own yard, but if you can push it back a little bit until you're allowed to hunt. The thing is about grouse, they never go too far. They'll stick around. They'll fly away and they'll start going down and turning. And when they start going down and turning, they're about to land. So they'll go like maybe 100 meters at a time and land. Then you can get close. They'll start coming back to their to where you first saw them. So they tend to go in circles. So if you can see what direction they went and where to start turning to land, eventually you'll catch up to them. And that's the main thing about hunting grouse. Well, I think I'm going to let you guys... Well, I should stay on for another 12 minutes. Just so that I can push you over to Scott after. People are leaving. Don't leave. No, I understand. What else happened? Well, we've been harvesting strawberries and raspberries and grapes and a bunch of fruit still. It's pretty wild. And I also ended up getting some sea buckthorn berries. A friend of mine invited me to go visit his garden. And, I like seeing what other people do. When people do something different, I enjoy it. I tend to have everything separated. My trees on one side, my shrubs on the other side, my garden vegetables on the other side, my vines somewhere else. But turns out you can have all those things at the same place, all those things around each other. Really? Did I? No, I didn't give you any raspberries, did I? Next time you come, I'll try to find a new growth, and I'll give you one. The ones I have, Scott, the raspberries in the summer, they look like just regular raspberries. You'll be like, oh, well, there's nothing special about those raspberries. But after the first week of September, they go full crazy mode. I mean, we harvest a cup of raspberry per day since the beginning of September. And we didn't go yesterday and we didn't go tonight. And tomorrow morning, if I go, I'm probably going to harvest another 3-4 cups of raspberries. They are huge, like, the size of a toonie, or at least the size of a loony. And they're kind of like purplish red raspberries, and they are so delicious, and they produce like crazy. And they probably won't have time. If I had a longer season, they would probably just go on forever. I bought the one plant at Walmart like 10 years ago. I thought it was dead. Left it there, came back the following year, 2 or 3 little growth. I didn't think anything of it. And then suddenly they just start, boom, coming out of everywhere. So basically I have like a 4 yards by 6-8 yards square. That's just rectangle. That's just full of raspberries. And it's just crazy. So I'll give you some. No, they're not blackberries. They're really raspberries. They're ever-bearing raspberries. I'll show you. I have a few pictures, I think. Um, I'll send you some pictures of what I have. I'll show you a video. Let me send you that right now, just so you can see. I was speaking French just because I was showing someone. But like what you see is what we see every day, even if we pick them up. I mean, it's just crazy. They're huge and they're beautiful and they're delicious. Sea buckthorn, they kind of taste like dry, sour orange. I find if you like those sweet tarts, is it, what Warhead? You know those Warhead candies for kids? How sour they are. The sea buckthorn kind of feel the same way, with a little orange taste. So I like it. I find it very good. They're very, very, very high in vitamin C and antioxidants. And the funny thing about those shrubs is that once they start growing, you literally have it's like one berry per needle on a spruce. You know how many needles you have on a spruce? It's like, imagine the sea buckthorn berry shrub kind of look like a Christmas tree, or a spruce, or and imagine that at every single needle you would have one tiny fruit on both sides of the branch. That's how much it produces. It's unbelievable. I've never seen anything like it. It produces so many fruits. The only problem is it takes a long time to harvest because you have to go and harvest them all one by one. But I can't wait to have them here, and I will make some jam, jelly. I'm pretty sure it would be great in fruit leather as well. I still have elderberries turning black. That's awesome. The elderberry trees I have are about this big, and I gave one to Scott, and I gave him gooseberries and one red currant, I think. So hopefully, hopefully they all survive, and Scott gets to get a lot of fruits from them. My sea buckthorn is only like 18 inches tall. Okay. Well, mines are about 2 feet tall. Plus, I received some from Jennifer Hoshin Homestead. They're about this size. And my friend that allowed me to taste some, he literally just cut a branch out of the tree and he's like, take that home. He has a few new sprouts, suckers growing, and he told me I could just go and get them. So I have to go there before he decides to cut them up, because they're actually growing in his driveway. And I want to plant them in the back of the property somewhere where I can just let them grow. Grow, my little babies. Grow in the back and do your thing. I'll go harvest the fruits whenever they're ready. I will never, never, never be mad or sad about fruit trees or shrubs taking over my property. I mean, obviously, I don't want them to go in my garden and all that stuff, but strawberries, if I had strawberries all over my property, I'd be happy. Same for blueberries and all those fruit shrubs and trees. I mean, I just want to have them everywhere. So I'm hoping that in the near future, I'll be able to harvest fruits all summer long. I have the honeyberries that are coming out middle of June. Those are probably the first ones I get. Early June to mid June, I started getting some honeyberries. I want to plant some more. I want to have them. I want to have enough that I can go and harvest a few cups and make some jam with the honeyberries. I also want to have enough that if I decide one year to make wine, I can actually go and make wine. Hello, hello, Melody and Ryan, right? I think I'm right. So, how's the husband doing from the accident? I know he had a little accident. Um, I think I saw. Awesome. So Ryan and Melody, I'm pretty happy that I finally got it. Um, yeah, I think he was home because I think I saw a live stream. Both of you were on at the same time, so I'm guessing he's home at least. Ryan is doing just amazingly. He's slower walking, but is a total miracle. Well, that's great news. That's awesome. Hopefully, he just keeps getting better from there. Yeah, Jane, fertilize in the spring. Also, also, fertilize in the fall. If you have chickens, put some chicken manure all around your fruit trees. If you put that around, the snow in the winter will just push everything down and decompose it a little bit. And when it starts melting, it will take all the nutrients and put it down in the soil. So that will help your fruit trees a lot. Marilyn from Little Homestead by the Beach keeps telling me to put all the rabbit manure I can around my shrubs in late fall, just before the snow. It will decompose and get into the soil, and it's probably the best time to fertilize your shrubs. He is out in pepper working on a bonfire. Awesome. I didn't think it'd be out and about for a few months, but it's super hard to keep down. As long as he's being careful not to overdo it, and you don't want him to get hurt again and delay the healing. Is it all right to plant fruit trees in the fall? I've always been told that the best time was in the spring, but the second best time would be in the fall. As soon as it starts getting cold enough so that the trees won't dry up, just before they go into dormancy, I think it's also a good time. But the only part I hate about that is that you will not know if the tree is actually surviving until the next spring, or maybe even in the summer. As if you transplant them in spring, as soon as you can actually work the soil, you will know quite fast. Within a month, you'll see if the tree is still alive. And sometimes you might think that your fruit tree is dying, but you leave it there anyway, and you give them a lot of compost and a lot of water, and eventually it can just start taking off again. I had the one tiny crabapple tree that I was pretty sure was dead, and I put it in a pot in a container just because I wanted to give him more love, and it seemed like it had died off. The leaves were falling off, and the tree was just like, ugh. And suddenly I forgot about it for about 3-4 weeks and looked back, and it was full of new growth. So that's something else I have to do before the winter hits. I have to transplant all my herbs and all my fruit trees that I have in pots. I have a few apple trees that I'm going to need to make sure they're solid in the soil. I'm pretty sure they didn't make it. They're dead, but you never know until next spring. it's usually when everything starts thawing out and you can see the new growth. If it has no new growth, then you know it's not going to make it. Um, but that's also another way. Like, it's also good if you plant your trees in the fall. I guess you'll see as soon as the spring arrives if your fruit tree survives. Did you transplant anything lately, Melody? We have some in pots. We don't want to lose them. They have already given us fruit this year. Well, if you have them in pots, I would say that uh, you guys are in BC, right? You're on one of the islands back there. So I'm guessing it's probably close to our climate. We are usually having like the first unofficial frost date is usually around September 15. But lately we've had our first frost like later than that. It's getting colder here, around 5 Celsius at night and, 15 to 20 during the day still. But usually in October, we can start having a few snowflakes that won't last, but it can get that cold. I've seen some years where we've had our first snow early November that would stick. Last year it was around December 30th, which was a pretty abnormal year. So if you have the same climate as me, Zone 3B, oh, you're even colder than me. I'm in Zone 4B or 4A. I don't know. I'm kind of right in the line. So I'm guessing if it gets cold enough, it should be safe to transplant it. I mean, if you leave it in the pot, it's probably gonna die anyway because the roots will freeze. Although I've seen a few nurseries around here simply put like hay bales around them, like around the base. Um, you just don't want it to freeze. That's the thing. I would probably transplant it soon. You're not late or anything, unless before the first snow. You would need to get that done before the first snow. Well, that's what I would do. Tell him to take it a little easy, Melody, or we'll have to revoke it. Yeah, exactly. 4 feet of snow up here. I guess we'll have to just wait and see. Yeah, I've seen some years where we had about 10 feet of snow. We live we have like our own little microclimate here with the Restigouche River and the what we call the Baie des Chaleurs. Um, I don't know. It's strange. It can be, um, you know, 30 degrees Celsius an hour from here and be snowing here. Like, not that it's been happening lately, although like lately it's been weird. Been lurking in the bushes, but I have to go now. Awesome. Thank you so much, LP. Though I'd pop in and wish you well. Thank you so much. Yeah, I would transplant them now just to be sure that they don't freeze. Um, you know, they have more chances of surviving in the snow, depending on what it is. I've struggled with goji berries because, from what I understand, they need to get the roots established very, very well before you can transplant them. If they have too much space, they tend to kill. For some reason, it kills the plant. But apple trees and I've transplanted a few cranberries as well, and they ended up. I thought they were dying, but there's new growth coming out of the stem. So just never give up, I guess. I've enjoyed the live. You have me really wanting to get some berries planted. Good luck with all you have going on. Thank you so much. glad I was able to motivate someone to get some new fruit trees. It's all good. I guess we'll try and see, cover the ground around with mulch. Um, yeah, so you have apples and plums and grapes. Okay, so the apples, usually if the tree is strong, you shouldn't have a problem. Put it in the soil. You can do it now as long as it's not like plus 30s, when it's too warm. Anything below 15 Celsius, you should be good to go. Plant them in rich soil that drains well. You'll be all right. Plums, the plum trees usually, they're almost impossible to kill. From what I understand, you can prune it at some point, throw the branches on the ground, and they might take. They might start growing new plum trees. Grapes, the grapes, I never realized. Well, I was told they were heavy feeders, like they need a lot of compost. And I never realized until this year how much compost they actually need. If they're alive, put them in the ground. They should survive. If they have leaves right now, that's fine. But give them, if you have chickens, put chicken manure around it. A friend of mine had a grapevine, thought it was dead. They threw it in the backwood behind their property, and they cleaned the chicken coop. They threw all the chicken manure back there because they didn't want to have to deal with it. They used the rabbit manure in their garden instead. And they forgot about that grapevine. And that was last year. And they thought it was dead because they had just bought it and, it didn't get big and the leaves died and nothing was happening. So we're talking about maybe like 3 feet high at best grapevine. They left it there in the chicken manure without even realizing that they put the chicken manure on the grapes. I was there in midsummer helping them with their chickens, their meat chickens. And I looked back there and I'm like, guys, do you have wild grapes back there? They're like, no. Because my friend lives in his old parents' house. He's like, no, like I've been here my whole life. We don't have grapes back there. Well, I'm sorry to tell you, but you have 2 huge grapevines back there. And when I say huge, they were higher than I could reach. And I'm 5'10". I have some grapevines here that are 6, 7 years old, and they're not higher than me. By giving them chicken manure, in 1 year, they grew about 15 feet tall. And they were full of grapes. All these little grapes already have grapes on them too in the pot. Okay, so they might die. The grapes might die in the pots because the soil is probably not rich enough. So those would be the first one I would plant. Plant them where they can climb on something. And I'm telling you, give them a lot of chicken manure. Now, I don't know. I don't know if you need to put that like right to the stem or just around it, like leave it breathing a little bit. Because, if you have some trees and plants that if you put soil on top of the crown, you might kill the plant. You have no manure. Is there any way that you could get compost? Do you have any compost? You do your own compost? Or since you live on an island, you probably have seaweeds or anything like that. Just go and get some soil from the woods around. Anything that's rich in nutrients to help them. They probably will survive the winter in the soil if you just put them in the soil. But if you want to really help them, they will need a lot of nutrients. But the grapes, the apple, not the grapes, the plums and apples should be fine. Raspberries and blueberries, the raspberries, they will spread. The ones I have here, I mean, just the one plant, and within 10 years, I mean, I can't say I lost control because you can just mow the lawn on top of them and eventually they'll die. Um, but they're like, uh, maybe like 3 by 8 meters, and it's full. Like it's one plant every 7, 8 inches, and I just planted the one about 10 years ago, and they're still producing right now. I have some ever-bearing raspberries, and they're still producing about a cup a day right now. And the blueberries will need acidic soil, so those are the hardest one for me to keep going, and that's why I got the honeyberries instead. They kind of taste similar, and the honeyberries are very much easier to grow. I'm going to run out and get this done. You're very welcome, and I will catch one of your live stream at some point as well. So thank you for stopping by, and good luck to Ryan, and good luck with your fruit trees. Keep me posted. I buy hemp manure pellets from Quebec at Rona. Oh, awesome. Well, that's good to know. But I know Melody and Ryan live on an island, so I don't know how much stuff they can bring when they go out. Actually, I don't know if you guys have an helicopter. I really need to catch up because you're pretty much doing the same life the Kilchers are living, kind of, in a certain way. Well, what they were doing at first, with minus maybe the cattle. But all right, well, enough talking. I will let you guys go, and you will be redirected to Scott from Rambling with the Brooms live stream, and I will see you there in a minute. And if you have nothing better to do, Sunday morning around this time in the morning, it's 9:15 p.m. for me right now, so around 9 a.m. my time, 8 a.m. Eastern time, I will be on to just chat about what's been going on during the weekend. So thanks for watching. Don't hesitate to share my stuff, comment. Comments are always appreciated as long as they're positive or constructive. And you will be redirected to Scott's live stream. Take care.